Don't forget to like, subscribe and share the videos.
India starts the process to adopt national security strategy. Why this is significant? See, the news is related to civil service examination under prelims through a topic called current events of national and international importance. Similarly, under mains, it is related to GS paper 3 internal security. Okay, the National Security Council Secretariat, it is collecting the data from various ministry to form the common national security strategy for India. And what does this national security strategy is? It outlines the country's security objective and ways to achieve it. And it requires, if the security policy is going to be formed means, then there need to be a periodic updation required, which will be encompassing the geopolitics as well as the domestical requirement. And then it defines the national security strategy will be defining the traditional as well as the non-traditional threats, and it will also fix the accountability to the members or the agencies who are responsible for imposing the security related schemes or programs with them. And then it guides the military as well as the security reforms that is needed in the future. Similarly, what are all the different kinds of non-traditional threats that has been arising across the world, most importantly in India, is financial as well as economic security. Secondly, food and energy security, information warfare, and vulnerabilities are the different types of the non-traditional threats that is arising in India and also at the global level. So what are the countries previously have their own national security strategies? That the developed countries like US, UK and Russia, and then the China is also having a comprehensive national security policy. Similarly, the Pakistan has recently formed the national security policy 2020-26. So we could able to see that both the border countries, the China and Pakistan, are having their own national security policies. So this is what the status of the policy national security strategy in different countries, and why the effort has been taken now, despite so many years after independence. Why it is being taken for the first time now is because of the rise of the non-traditional threats which we have seen in the previous slide. Secondly, it is because of the rising geopolitical uncertainties and then increasing divide between the countries. So these are all the factors which has arisen recently to make India to form its own national security strategy. Why India has never had such a national security policy is what various ex-officials and various ministries or departments are saying is that because of lack of cohesiveness and lack of whole of government approach between different stakeholders of the securities, and also lack of coordination between the state and center, and then most of the time government is not willing to make public its national security objective. That is the reason why they could not able to form a national security policy. So if the national security policy is going to be formed means, then surely it need to be made public. So because of the hindrance by the previous governments or the previous agency to publicize these objectives, it is also one of the reason for not forming the national security strategy. These are all the reasons being quoted by different ministries according to the article. So let's have a look into what is this National Security Council is. It is the executive government agency which is tasked with advising the Prime Minister office on the matter of the national security as well as its strategic interest. And it is established by our former Prime Minister Atal Bihari Vajpayee during 1998. And then Brajesh Mishra was our first national security advisor, and the National Security Council will be will comprise of members like National Security Advisor, Deputy National Security Advisor, Ministry of Defense, External Affairs Minister, Finance Minister, Home Minister, and then the Vice Chairman of the Niti Aayog. And PM will be the chairing the National Security meeting of the National Security Council. So this is what the details of the National Security Council is. And the National Security Council structure will encompass of 3 tiers. Just the Strategy Policy Group, the National Security Advisor Board, and then the Joint Intelligence Committee. So these are all the 3 tiers of the National Security Council. So what are all the areas which we need to be aware of is, first and foremost, we should know about what is this theatre commanders. Secondly, we should also be aware of the paramilitary forces. Thirdly, we should also be aware of what are all the different types of Ministry of Defense, Home Ministries programs being security related initiatives being formed as well as implemented at the ground level. So these are all the other areas which we need to be aware of, and with this we have reached the end of this topic.